Seen these deadly wildfires burning across Los Angeles. As a result, air quality has been a major issue for residents. Here to talk more about the long-term effects of wildfire smoke is allergist and immunologist Dr. Purvi Parikh. Thank you so much for being here, doctor. Sure appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Can you talk about the effects of inhaling toxic smoke on the lungs? We see how dark that smoke is in the sky in the LA area.
Right. So, the effects of inhaling the toxic smoke actually do affect your lungs, but they can actually affect your entire body, head to toe. So, starting with the lungs, they can cause inflammation, which causes coughing, chest tightness, trouble breathing, or wheezing, almost asthma type symptoms. And they can also affect your eyes by causing burning. They can cause nasal congestion, runny nose, hoarseness, sore throat, and it can even cause confusion, memory loss, dizziness if you're exposed for long periods of time. And then unfortunately, we know there's a lot of internal consequences. So it can cause lung damage, even long-term if there's prolonged smoke or if you're in one of those susceptible groups, as well as heart damage. And if you're someone like a child or pregnant woman, it has further implications too on children's developing lungs, as well as the pregnant woman and her unborn fetus as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on the long-term effects because this is something we could be dealing with for quite a while here. We talk a lot about the air quality index. How is that calculated? Why is that so important to pay attention to?
Right. It's extremely important to pay attention to the air quality index because it essentially lets you know if it's safe to be outside or if you need to take extra precautions, especially if you're in one of those high-risk groups. That's important for all of us. And it's usually calculated with a number of factors. They look at levels of dangerous gases in the air that's produced by wildfire smoke, like nitric dioxide and carbon monoxide. And then they also look at particulate matter. So there is particulate matter, small particles of these dangerous chemicals and smoke down to what we call 2.5 microns. And this is dangerous because this is what can get really deep into your lungs and lodge in there and cause a lot of long-term consequences. So they look at those things as well as ozone layers and the general pollution as well. That's how it's calculated.
If we see that the levels are at moderate, does that mean that we're okay, or should we still be using caution?
That's a great question. So moderate is generally safe for most groups, but if you're in those high-risk groups, so that includes people with chronic lung diseases like asthma or COPD, heart disease, elderly, children, pregnant women, then even moderate may not be safe for you, and you need to take those extra precautions for your health.
Look, at one point there was a wind-blown dust and ash advisory for LA. Can you break down what that all entails?
Yeah, so again, the windblown dust and ash, the danger with that is that it can break into those really small particles again that can lodge really deep into your lungs. It can cause issues with your heart as well. So again, if you're in those high-risk groups, the lung disease, heart disease, children, pregnant women, elderly, the windblown dust and ash days, you should also be staying indoors, taking those precautions to protect your health as well.
Yeah, they've been getting a better grasp on these fires, so the air quality's been improving a bit here. But moving forward, how can people stay safe during these hazardous air quality conditions? What can people in that area be doing right now, or what could we do if we see that here?
Right. So the best way to be safe going forward is to, constantly check that air quality index. Now, luckily, it pops up on most of our smartphones on the weather apps. But if not, a lot of the different weather websites do give you a daily air quality index. So make sure it's safe. And if it is a day where it's unsafe for you, stay indoors, keep your windows and doors closed. I would invest in a good HEPA air purifier to run inside because even with things closed, some of that smoke can get indoors. And if you do have to go outside, limit your time, use a high quality mask like an N95 mask, and try to avoid working out outside or working outside on those poor air quality days if you can.
Yeah, some great information, some great safety tips there. Dr. Purvi Parikh, thanks you so much for your time here.
And thank you for having me.
Have a great day.